Hello, my name is Herbert Midgley. I am the writer, director, and star of The Truth, and this is the rough cut, which basically follows the script. And if you notice, there's a different voice there, as well as a lot longer uh, intro of this kind of a slow rack zoom into the clock. And as you notice, this time the clock is actually ticking, and at the end, it's not. Kind of bookend this movie together. Here's a dream sequence. Again, originally this was not in the script, but I happen to have access to a green screen, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to tie it together. And also, you notice that moon going up and down, and that's like 20 minutes. I think this was speed up like 500, 600 times to get it to go out in a handful of seconds. And there's no Sarah yell out in this particular cut here. Looking at the ring, and this is a longer walk away. Realize you need to see me get up and walk away, especially because my belt buckle is off kiltered a bit. All right. And there's Roswell. I couldn't get the edit quite to get it down right on the thing. It took like 7 times to finally get it right. It's a lot longer sequence of the breakfast, and I was trying to establish that there was a lot of tension there. It just really didn't seem to work and really didn't need it. There's the fork eating cereal, which I liked, and I like going to the wedding ring. To me, the idea of the wedding ring was that he just hasn't taken off yet. He still thinks his wife is coming back. So people just got confused. And there's a Heather talking to her father. If you notice the kitchen, that's the doors open, the microwave open, really sells it as being more of a domesticated house than the location it actually was. Eating cereal. Cut that scene out part there. Didn't need it. There's that picture. If you notice, there weren't any pictures on this one as well. And initially, in this cut here, you see there's a lot more use of the phone. So I kind of had that be kind of a common theme throughout the different scenes. There's a box being drawn by the character Heather. And one thing when I watch myself on camera act, I notice how different I am without my glasses on, and I'm pretty nearsighted, so I can't really see anything too far away. So, but I think I look like I can actually see. There's that emo goth look. And there's I don't think it's quite soul is what I wanted. It was basically he still sits a plate for his missing wife that's been gone for a year and a half. And I still think I played as too mean. I was hoping to be a little bit frustrated, and I think this comes off of as being mean. Cut a couple seconds off there for the note. And walk out, fade out. And you notice how there's a different order. Now that this actually comes before because I moved the coffee house scene earlier. And there he is, looking at the photos, a little bit longer photo dwell. And there's a ring. I wanted to make sure you see the ring a whole lot. And some industrial tiles in the back. I don't think anybody notices those too much. There's other photos on there are mainly of me. And I really like the way this started off. It just didn't need it. And you could tell right away when the granny character threw down the glasses that she was frustrated. So you didn't need that line. And so it went away. Went on the floor, as I said. And this was shot at noon, and you can see the harsh shadows. And the low angle of the granny there makes her more of a villain. A level shot, kind of the ants, kind of the in between both of them. And I'm not quite sure that anybody realized that was supposed to be the ant. It could have been a family friend as well. And I fought audio all through this. About half the time almost, it seems I spent on audio. Sometimes you spend 3 hours to try to make 1 second sound better. It's really fascinating, the process of it. I like that line, just didn't need it, so it got cut. And I'm not sure if people will get what that statement there is, but I think with her reaction there, it kind of sells. That's what I wanted. And now you notice this is the end of the scene. This is the extra scene here. Pulls out the note that her dad left. And then she walks off, and I like her walking off, and I like how the aunt just gets frustrated, leaves, and here's the cell phone coming out, and no one understood this, that maybe she's calling the agent. Who is she calling? I don't know. There was apparently too many questions, so it got cut.
And here's that warehouse, which I just love the outside of. And I guess this really didn't sell as well. I mean, the next scene is being a domesticated area. And this was a cool thing. You just photoshopped out the name of it and this chicken plant. And I love the old phone there, like dialing it. And you've noticed the phone call is not on the final cut. Raccoon into the face. I like that. Just didn't need it. And I had another cut where you actually did hear um, people in the background, and the phone sounded differently. So I actually spent a lot of time on the scene and then just do it on the floor. I have all this shot at him actually talking, but his face was just so interesting up close that I thought that was more visually powerful for this. And what I was hoping this show was that he's the agent. He's watching over this guy, and he honestly cares about this guy. He doesn't want him to get killed. He's trying to save his life, basically, pleading with him, please come back here to work. Stop doing what you're doing. And now on the final cut, he's the jerk. I threw that one line in Kay lost him, which means too bad. But the one thing I learned in Spanish that I remember from all those 4 or 5 years I took in junior high and high school, no one liked the big flash, so that went. People didn't understand it. I was trying to have some themes throughout, but I guess you didn't need it. I like to look over, which I put that back in the final cut finally, and going in. People thinking, well, that sure doesn't look like that. Well, I mean, maybe it's underground. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe he kept on looking. Maybe that's just the first part of that secret base. If it didn't sell, it just didn't sell, I guess. And here are the UFO parts. I darkened them up and I lightened them up and darkened them up and lightened them up, and I kind of found a happy medium for the final cut. And I like how the lighting is on that. That's one reason why I kept that shot, even though you can probably tell pretty sure that's aluminum foil. This was just a cool looking shot. I thought I kind of established the UFO parts a little bit more. This was too long, so cut it out. Dovetailed it with him clapping and him standing up. If I would have had a look of the Michael character looking over, that would have cut better. This shot just looks good. Wasn't written, just happened to. We saw it, we took a picture, and we shot it. This worked out great. Okay, there's the gun reveal, and sadly we ran out of time. I didn't get a shot of. Been better to have a shot of the Heather character coming behind him. Just didn't have it, so just cut what I had. All right, that shoulder shrug. One of my acting friends, she said that it looked like he was not as powerful, so I hid that with my big face on the final cut, and I cut of a sexy scene. And you notice I have two hand holding gestures when we releases. And if you notice, I pull it in the final cut that you're going to see the tip of his shoulder, and so that really didn't sell like the way it was, but you can do that in post, and that sells it better. All right, and here is what everybody liked: the alien come out of nowhere, and there's the touch. Just was too hokey. People just started laughing, and I know this is not a joke piece. Him walking, you didn't need it. Cut to right there. Handshake. And why is he handshaking? Why does anybody handshake? What does that symbolize? Yeah, I like how I did the final cut on that better, a lot better. The mystery is what you need. You don't need to have everything. You don't need to have the whole banana peeled for you. Now here's a scene that nobody understood either. That's coming up. There's newspapers all on the ground, and the Heather character picks up a newspaper, and basically, kind of a commentary on the way the world, humanity's always been. In the last 5,000 years, there's been 50 years of peace if you add up all the days and months and whatnot. Humanity's always fighting each other. Kind of a little bit of hope for future. No picture on this one here, going into the light, and I like this a little bit. I pulled the contrast out in the final edit, but I actually did like how that was blown out. Faded into the clock, and you notice on this one here, I actually had it clicking still on, even though the clock had stopped. I thought that was something that was interesting, visually and orally, really, I guess. Confused people, so I had to go. A lot longer zoom out. Title sequence was going to basically go over this and kind of fade to the title sequence. So you see editing about 97 hours of editing into The Truth, which is a 6 minute and 42-second movie now, and this was the original 10.5 minute cut. And I really feel that all the things we cut were for a reason, and just to get to the story. You kill your babies a lot of times when you are editing and when you're making films, and I did a lot in this. Again, thanks to all the crew and actors and everybody that was a part of this and gave me feedback. You're the best. Rock and roll, everybody.